What's up, guys? It's Anthony Dezette with Explain the Cloud. I'm super excited to have Scott Gregory today, a real estate agent in Florida who is doing great things on the Emerald Coast. Check it out. Hey guys, what's up? It's Anthony Dezette here with Explaining the Cloud, and today I got a good friend of mine, been knowing him for years, and from Keller Williams, and now we're at eXp Realty together. Scott Gregory, what's up, man?
Hey man, excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
No problems. What you think? You're inside of our virtual podcast studio here, recording an episode of Explaining the Cloud with us. What do you think?
This is pretty cool. I've never been in the suites before, and this is cool. I like this.
It's a whole new thing. It's just come out a week or so ago. I believe I was one of the first, or if not the first agent to do it. And you and I have been really kind of building teams for quite some time too, and something you might want to look at, as time goes on. But talking about the podcast today, man. Tell everybody a little bit about you, your business, what do you do, where you do it at.
Absolutely. Well, I've been selling real estate here along the Emerald Coast. People usually think, when they think Florida, they usually think Miami. I get a lot of people say, I'm going to Miami, I'll come see you. I always tell them I might as well meet you in Chicago. It's about the same distance.
Right.
So basically where we are is right when you get into the panhandle of Florida. We're from the tip of Florida in Pensacola, and our team covers all the way to the Panama City line.
Very nice.
We're on a peninsula. Again, it was a perfect setup to join a virtual company. There's really one main road along the beaches, and it gets very congested. So everything that we do on our team is virtual, and being with this company that's virtual, it really turned into a perfect fit.
No, man, that's a great. I didn't think about that because obviously, being from New Orleans, Louisiana, we traveled to Destin often. That was like the vacation spot. It's funny because our real estate market in New Orleans actually hovers around July, August. It shuts down, and for years, we were like, "Hey, man, what the hell? What's happening? What's going on here?" And everybody goes to the beach. Everybody. August, even New Orleans itself. I could tell you, August in New Orleans is a very interesting time.
Yes, it is.
I can't remember the one. It's hot as hell. Okay, that's true. Very hot. Real estate business is gone. It's dead. And most restaurants close down in New Orleans in the month of August. And so,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's true, man. And so, and the interesting thing is why? Because everyone travels to Florida, to Destin, to Fort Walton, I should say. Navarre, Pensacola, Panama City. And it took me years to kind of even realize that. It's just interesting because you guys, you get the wave of people from the South, particularly there. So maybe, man, I'm curious, and maybe everybody else out here too. How does it look this summertime for you guys as far as real estate?
It's booming in the summer, and it's hot here too. The nice thing is we've got some water to jump
into. You can jump in the water, right? Exactly.
Yeah. It goes in the summer. We've got a real active real estate market during the summer months. We're actually, from my front door to the French Quarter is about 3 hours and 15 minutes. A lot of people don't know that.
No, they don't.
So it's a great way to travel, over there to have some fun, and for them to come over here and enjoy the beaches. I lived out at the beach for about a year and a half, and I think our entire condo was people from New Orleans. So
right. Well, man, you mentioned, and I never thought about this either, man. The one road kind of along the stretch. It's so true, and that's an interesting concept. I guess a great talking point for the podcast because a lot of people are looking at eXp Realty right now, and you and I mentioned right before the podcast that this time of year, it's game on. I probably had 30 people approach me this month. You get a ton of calls because people are making that transition this time of year. And one thing that stood out to me in our pre-interview was that, or even during this conversation, that you said the virtual, we don't have to go to an office. So man, give us an idea of how you're using that dynamic now with your team stretched in, how big of a distance is it?
It covers about. I'm in Navarre, which is kind of in the center of everything.
Right.
We go about 25 miles to the west, and then we cover about 35 miles to the east. So it's if you have to, in the summertime, if I want to go even a portion of that, if I want to go Navarre to Destin in the summertime, sometimes it takes me 2.5 hours.
You should just walk or bike it.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I could almost literally get to New Orleans in about the same amount of time.
Right. No, it's true.
As it is to get to Destin.
That's true. Especially Destin, man. That if you guys haven't been to Destin, that's crazy. Don't know.
Yeah. So what we do on our team is I have agents that live out that way, out toward Destin and 30A. And everything we do is virtual. Our team meetings are virtual.
Absolutely.
When we have we have coaching and consulting, we do that virtually. I'm also a certified mentor for EXP, and we've got our weekly mentorship call on Zoom meeting coming up. About an hour from now. So yeah, we do everything, pretty much just about everything virtually. We're trying to do some local events, training events on a consistent basis, just for bringing value and for visibility. But that aside, everything that we do is on Zoom meeting or in the world and such.
Yeah, that's great, man. I tell you, and that's where I'm at too. I mean, my team stretches into like 3 different states right now, and I'm geographically way more challenged than you are. I got agents who are on my team that are 300-400 miles away, and it's really it's neat and interesting, man. Because even I can tell you, EXP itself was great in the sense that it gave me the ability to communicate with people in a different way. Man, I'll tell you, Scott, and everybody heard on the podcast, and we got a great one coming up with Ravella. It's going to be released probably next week. When we talk about these team suites, man, which you're in right now. And guys, you go to YouTube and go to Explain the Cloud on YouTube, you can see me and Scott sitting in here doing the podcast. Man, this is something you need to look at, dude, because I'll tell you that communication you're doing, that training, I was doing it with Zoom also. It was working okay. It was great. We had a great, man, this is like sitting in the damn office with people right now. Like
this
one of my
cool.
agents. Oh, it's, dude, maybe later on after the podcast, I'll show you kind of more stuff. But, Jennifer Martinez is one of my new agents. She's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I mean, dude, I'm living in Shreveport, Louisiana right now too. Okay. So I'm even further away than, Baton Rouge and New Orleans, where I was. She had 2 contracts she had to work on today. She's brand new. I think she's 12 days in. We came into the office, sat down, pulled up my screen, showed this, did that. We communicate all now via this office, workplace, and workplace chat. And that's it. I don't even have my agent's phone number saved in my phone anymore because these tools that we're getting with this company, man, are truly a game changer for our business.
That is cool. That is so cool.
It's so neat. It really is. Well, man, tell me, we talked a lot about, EXP. What made you, you were a Keller guy like I was for a long time. You said you're 20 plus years in the business. I'm hovering somewhere around 14, 15. I made the change, man. What did you see about EXP Realty that intrigued you?
I was at Keller Williams for 12 years, and from a company standpoint, I love the company. I mean, I did. I didn't
I agree.
I didn't think locally there was some politics, and some things weren't run according to models, and I had my problems with those. There's no question about that, and that was one of the reasons why I was open-minded at all. But really, it was kind of a funny story because my initial introduction to EXP Realty was I would have people friend me on Facebook, and I'd accept their friend request, and immediately it's like, watch this webinar, and they're trying to, it's like, no, who are, buy me a cup of coffee first.
See, I must have missed that wave because I didn't get that. Like everybody, I hear it all the time. Believe me, man. People are like, oh no, you guys are spamming, and we're going to talk about appropriate way attraction.
I felt so cheap,
right? And I don't know. We'll talk about that. But the funny thing is, I know what you're saying because it's like I guess I missed that wave. I didn't get inundated like that. Sherry Elliott out of Dallas, Texas. I've seen her posting, and she was a good friend of mine. She was Keller. We went MAPS coaching together and all that fun stuff. And we traveled with some of our masterminds and coaching sessions. And I seen her posting about this company, and I'm like, what the hell? Why did she leave? So I called her, and she's like, you told me, Anthony, just check it out. Here, look at this, see what it is. And man, I can tell you, when I first saw it, it was hard to not acknowledge what was available. And the interesting part, man, is I still to this day, I told somebody the other day, I mean, I don't think I fully understood when I first joined how cool of things we have available to us. I mean, the really cool part, every month it feels like it's something new that what they throw into us they use.
Yeah, absolutely. So time went on, and I drew a hard line against it. I was even making fun of it a little bit.
Right.
I didn't know what I didn't know. And I did some national real estate coaching. I used to coach 4 or 5 agents around the country, and it was great. It was helpful to them. And then I would network with some of the top teams and agents around the country who were also coaches. So one of my coaching clients, I saw some of these coaches were going over, and one of my coaching clients is like, "Will you take a look at this presentation I just joined?" And I said, it was Kathy Carter, and I said, "Kathy, I'm not going to be interested.
Right.
I'm just not." And she says, "Well, will you take a look at it?" I said, "Yeah, I will." I really couldn't, I always joke with her now, I couldn't figure out a way to get out of it.
Right.
So I did it out of obligation, but really I did it because I respected her a great deal, I mean,
Right.
and that's how it goes with recruiting. You'll listen to the person that you respect,
So true, man. So true.
as opposed to somebody who's trying to, just get you in the group. So I started looking at this, and she brings Jay Nelson onto the call. And if you don't know Jay, he's from West Monroe, and he's excited about real estate. He's
Right.
bouncing off the walls, and he talks 1,000,000 miles an hour. And I'm like, who is this guy? So,
right.
So I mean, but I could tell he was excited. Okay.
Right.
So
he was dancing. Boogie down the street.
Yeah. So I get about. It's funny. We get about 7 minutes into the presentation, and I stop him, and I said, "Jay, I'm going to stop you here." And I said, "Let me ask you a question." I said, "So what we did here is we got rid of bricks and mortar, and we got rid of the franchise concept. And they're giving that money that used to go to the franchise owners and the ownership group, they're giving it back to us, and they're doing it on revenue and not profit." And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to do that." I mean, it was that simple. It made perfect sense to me. I said, wow. I mean, I didn't, the light bulb went off, and I was, so I got a copy of that video. I went home. My wife looked at it, and we started making arrangements to move, get moved over the next day.
Yep.
But it took somebody that I respected to say, "Sit down and look at this. Just take a look at it."
And no, man, that's huge, because I could tell you the only reason. I mean, I've done pretty well with agent attraction with the company, and and I've been able to build my team, something that I didn't think I even had the ability to do, honestly. And not to say I didn't think I was able to build my team the way I have it now, only because I didn't know what was available out there to me.
Yeah.
And that's the interesting conversation I have with agents. And you nailed it, man. I've been in front of great agents that I brought over to the company only because of we've had a relationship,
Yep.
And there is a lot of this. And I still say to this day, and I still see it. And look, guys, if you're listening to this and you're not with EXP and you've been, just call it what it is, spammed, EXP does not, they actually hate it. They are taking huge measures to stopping people from doing things like that.
Right.
I see why it happens. I mean, this is an extremely lucrative business model. It really is. I mean, Scott, you and I know people who are doing very well with it,
Oh, yeah. And the other thing, too, is the excitement is genuine oftentimes.
The excitement.
I mean,
Great word.
Even if you take that revenue share aspect away from it, I'd still be excited about the company. I mean, it's a cool concept. I mean, it's a better way to run my business than anything that I'd seen before.
By far. No,
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. And that's what I think a lot of people are missing, to be honest with you. But think about this, and I've heard it. You're not the only person. Like I said, I'm going right at a little over 3 years in the company. And that many people told me. I mean, David Upchurch was just in here the other day, and he was talking about Darren James had reached out to him. And you probably know Darren. He's in Denham Springs, Louisiana. Good guy, great guy. One of our good friends. And he said, "Man, I wish Darren would have sat me down and just slapped me and said, 'Hey, listen to this. Sit down and look.'" Because what's happening is a lot of people were coming over a couple of years later after we saw it and be like, "Damn, why didn't someone really almost physically sit me down and say, really look at this?"
Yeah. And I hear the same thing, over and over and over again. It's like, "Well, do you have any regrets?" It's like, "Yeah, that didn't come sooner."
You're right.
You know,
Right.
I mean, and it's true. I mean, I've heard so many people say that. It's like, I wish I would have come over sooner.
Right. So man, I'll tell you, Scott, I want to hear this from you because I hear it a lot. And again, guys, this is, if you're listening to this podcast, I think you've heard me say with Rita Parker and a few other people, we do have a hard time controlling our excitement. I mean, because we're loving what we're doing. I mean, look at this. Just go to YouTube and see what Scott and I are doing, how this is all working right now. It's such a crazy, interactive, fun thing. We're having fun. One of our slogans is make real estate fun again. But Scott, give me people always tell me when they see it, they're having a hard time finding something wrong. If you had to give a couple of things that maybe you could give us some insight on, what maybe some things you think that aren't the best fit for some people.
Well, and I was asked, I've been asked that same question. And, and really, the first time I was asked it, I stopped and I thought about it, and I'm like, there's nothing that I don't like about it. I mean,
right.
And I said that, when at the time when I came on board, there were problems with onboarding just because they didn't have the staff in place.
I agree. That was one of the big things for me in the first week.
That was causing some serious stress to me and to my team members and the people in my group. But they got in front of that, and now, I mean, they're getting people on board oftentimes the same day these days. If there's one thing that I wish we had some more Regis suites locally where we are. We've only got one, and it's way off on the edge. So what we've had to do is we've had to use, our vendor partners. We've title companies, mortgage companies. We've used their conference rooms from time to time for meetings and trainings.
Yep.
And there's some other small businesses, business suite type companies that we've used. But Starbucks has been just fine. I mean, it's sellers were going to their homes,
right? So
we don't have to worry about that there. But for the buyers or meeting with agents, Starbucks has worked just fine.
Yeah, I quit meeting with buyers in my office for quite some time ago. It was always because it was just I felt like even getting them to come into the office and park. So I was always going to Starbucks or coffee shops and things like that. That's always been kind of a thing. So, but you guys are your team, you're still doing some training at different locations. Now, do you do that for attraction purposes too, or do you do it for just for your team?
Great question. Yeah, one of the things that I wanted to talk about in building revenue shares is being more visible. So because what's happening is I couldn't have expected this 6 months ago. But I'm getting people getting excited about EXP before anybody introduces it to them now.
Right.
And they're looking around and they're seeing on social media going, okay, who do I know to talk to about this?
Correct.
We had a woman join last week, and she didn't even name a sponsor. She never even went to anyone. Right. So, I mean, people are calling me up and going, how do I get started? And I'm like, this is good. this is
Man,
awesome.
It's a big reason why, starting this podcast and and you could find the podcast on obviously any, podcast channel. We get the YouTube video starting now, and Instagram, Explain the Cloud on Instagram. I mean, just to tell you, man, just for the information I'm putting out there via Instagram, I've probably attracted 17 people just from that.
That's incredible.
Because it's just a source. Like, I was talking, I just interviewed, and if you get a chance, listen to Aaron Rawls. He's in California. And he said it is kind of a piece, man, that is missing. And I get the reason why EXP did it this way. They are enabling us to properly, approach other people by doing some type of different marketing and doing different things to grow. And we're doing it for them.
Right.
Like Aaron had said, man, I wish EXP would do these things. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get what you're thinking. But, man, that's why we have the part that we have in this business. That's why unlike another real estate company, man, that's why we're owners.
Yeah. And I mean, we actually do have bricks and mortar. We registered as a branch location and hung a sign, probably about 3 weeks ago.
Really nice.
And now we're getting people reaching out to us off of that too. But you had asked me about, and we also have, we've got meeting space in the whole 9 yards. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I get to hang a sign, and I'm not liable for anything anybody does.
Right.
From ourselves, right? I mean, that's a pretty cool way. The liability concerns of being a broker just went out the window on that. And yet
I love that part. People, man, people ask me all the time, Anthony, why aren't you a broker by now? And I'm like, I've been telling them for years. I'm like, do you even know what it means to be a broker? Do you even understand? Have you looked into it ever? You know, and I think it was another podcast I did, maybe episode 3 or 4. I can't remember exactly, but I was talking to someone and you know, here in northern Louisiana, everybody I'm talking to is becoming a broker. That's their next step. And so I went on an interview with an older gentleman that got into the company, Harold Salter. And I said, Harold, why is everyone? And he's like, Anthony, that's the way we were raised. He goes, you know, it was either you're a real estate agent, your next step is a broker. And all of a sudden it's crazy. I mean, Harold's 70 years old, came to the company fully embracing it. And he's like, that was what we were told. Everybody. And all of a sudden this crazy company called eXp Realty comes in here and just throws a monkey wrench in everybody's plans. And I can tell you, man, the funny part is people, I do these eXp explains inside the office, like you said, and I look at the crowd after and their eyes are glazed over.
Yeah.
And I asked them, I said, man, what, tell me what, and they're like, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah. You know, I've got a colleague of mine. He opened an indie brokerage and grew it to about 300 people. He's excellent. It's a great company. You know, so, but in talking to him, you know, he coaches other people that are, you know, independent brokers. And the first thing he'll tell them is, if you're not going to grow this business to 80 to 100 agents minimum, you're wasting your time.
Right. I just met with a broker, big broker here, owns multiple offices in the Shreveport, Bossier area, at 300 plus agents. And he goes, Anthony, knowing what I know now, I would never, I repeat, never open up a brokerage and be a broker.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Yeah.
He started talking to me his expenses and, you know, and man, look, I think we were talking about this in another episode, but man, we haven't seen the market downturn. We have been lucky, you know? I mean, you guys got hit for a little while. New Orleans never did. Other parts have, but man, we haven't got hit. And it's going to be interesting to see all these people, because this guy told me he's been in business for 20-something years. He said there was months when he lost 50 grand. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we had the market downturn here, followed by two major hurricanes and an oil spill. Have a nice day.
Right.
You know, I mean, it was bad. Here, it was just a mess for years. Yep. So yeah, I mean, it's been good for a long time. I mean, we're definitely thankful for that. Scott, but we got to go back to doing short sales all day long. We'll do it.
Yeah, you know? I know, man. It's so different now with I wouldn't say no, but no short sales. These foreclosures are gone. It's an interesting part of business. And man, you brought up something. Oil spill, man, that's a huge thing that affected the whole entire Gulf State area, you know, New Orleans all the way down to, you know, I mean, the whole entire Gulf South. And then hurricanes. You know, man, tell me, that was a kind of, I wouldn't say a big decision maker, but man, look, I was here for Katrina. I seen what happened. I got into real estate really full-fledged after Katrina, because that was my opportunity. I went to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm like, okay, I'm going to sell houses here now, I guess.
Yeah.
Man, that's a great thing you said, that, you know, one, being a licensed real estate agent in any state, you can always go to another city and start selling. But two, man, how does that look for you with revenue share?
You mean having people in different
right? If a natural disaster or something happens in life, man, I mean, you got income coming in still, right?
Oh yeah. As far as that goes, and that was part of our thinking too, is that, you know, we would have this other stream of income coming in now,
right?
And that's going to offset. I mean, if you've got, we're going to have some slow times eventually in real estate, and it would be, and that was part of my thinking too, is it would be nice to have, you know, at least a few $1,000s a month coming in that we can count on if things get pretty bad for a while, you know, if a storm hits, or if there's a market downturn or anything along those lines. So yeah, I mean, that was a big part of our thinking too. And I don't want to be, you know, like I said, I don't want to be selling real estate when I'm 80 years old. No, I mean, you know, calling expires and FSBOs, but you know, you don't meet many real estate agents who retire. That's for sure. And I didn't want to be one of those, you know. Oh, you had asked me on visibility about the local events. Yes. We're doing local events, and yes, that is for agent attraction also. It's to kind of raise the bar for people in our revenue share group and help them become better at what they do. And it's also to attract other agents. You know, we're doing what we decided to do here along the Emerald Coast is we're doing a training session. We've been doing training sessions once a month for about 2.5 hours on a topic of interest, things like lead generating, social media, things along those lines. And then what we're doing is we're breaking for lunch and then rolling into an EXP Explained if anyone would like to stay and take a look at what we're doing. So we're bringing value first and foremost. If they want to leave and not look at what we do, that's fine too. But what's happening is we're getting agents going, gee, we don't even get our own broker. Our own broker won't even do anything like this, and here you're doing it for us for free,
right?
And sharing your info, and it's been pretty well received. We're gonna continue doing that. As often, at least once a month in this coming year. We just started this about 3 months ago. I know they do some EXP Explained, once a month, once a week, whatever it happens to be in different markets. But we kind of wanted to kick it up another notch and just, bring value to the real estate community as a whole, and hopefully, and then hopefully raise the bar for the group too, and have them feel good about, having that local presence with the company as well.
Well, for sure, man. I'll tell you, it's we're sharing our knowledge, and we have a reason to share our knowledge now. I know previously in real estate, everybody was essentially my competition, and I was probably a pretty forthcoming person. I shared a lot. I probably shared too much in my real estate career at my previous company. But the fact is, I had a gentleman in Houston that just came into eXp Realty because of me, and he was he said, Anthony, he goes, I can't believe in a 10-minute phone call what you told me I could do for my business. And I explained to him, I said, man, you got to realize with this company, that's what this is about. It's about helping others. It's like you said, like you're doing classes in the community for people to learn. And look, if they don't want to come to EXP, great, so be it, whatever. But the fact is, we are being very intentional. Like I said, there's a level of excitement that we see. Yeah, everybody's getting really, overly excited at sometimes about the company. But the fact is, because I know I'm helping people, and I love that, and not everybody's going to come over to this company. But the people who do come over and embrace what we're doing, man, I'm giving them the keys to the castle.
Yeah.
Look, we've been doing this a long time. I mean, think about it, man. Back when you got in 20 years ago, even 10 years ago or 15 years ago, how much would you have paid someone like you to hold your hand and teach you how to sell real estate?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I fumbled around for years before I finally found, I started going to Mike Ferry stuff. I think I was probably 2 or 3 years into my business.
My first week, I joined MAPS coaching at Keller Williams.
Oh, did you really?
I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on here. Okay, who? What? And I lucked out. I got Mike Laren Byerly. She was amazing out of Philadelphia at the time. She's in Tampa now. Great. Dude, she helped me really learn everything. But but back then, I was paying a lot of money. And now I sit back and I'm like, guys, holy shit! Like, I'm here. I mean, look, we've been beat up in this business, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. When talking about coming from value, at my former company, an agent walked into my team leader's office and said, I'm ready to get started. And she was a fairly high producer, and she named me as her sponsor. And after, he calls me up and goes, she said she met with you 3 times for over the course of like 5 or 6 hours total. And I go, yeah. And he said, what did you talk to her about? Like, did you just explain the splits? Did it take that long to explain it to her?
Right.
And I looked at him and I went, I didn't explain the splits at all. All I did was talk to her about her goals and what she wanted to accomplish with her life and her business.
Man.
And he could not have sounded more confused. I mean, like I just blew his mind, right? And that's it. I mean, it's coming from contribution. She might have never come over, and she might not have even named me. But I mean, I was trying to help her out. Give her tips to help her in her business.
It's no different. It's no different than a
little bit about her. Yeah.
No different than selling a house. I tell my agents all the time, man. It's like when you're calling for sale by owner, and people have all these, they're having a panic attack because they calling this person on the phone, and I don't like the cold call. And one thing I figured out a long time ago is when I call someone, if I'm calling to do business with you, I'm here to help you. And I thoroughly believe that deep down in my soul that I am here to help you. Now, not everybody's like that. They have a lot of agents who just take listings and they don't care. They have a lot of agents who bring people into certain companies and they don't care. So it is a different element. You help each other. You're there. That's my game-changing difference. And I can tell you, man, back to why EXP is such a great fit for me, because I can live a life by helping others now. Like really spending time. I mean, dude, I have Facebook groups. I do video chats for my team. I do everything for the people that are in my downline. Half of them don't even show up. Okay, but you know what they can't say is that Anthony hasn't tried to help me. You know? And that's it, man. It's no different from selling a house. It's no different from working with a buyer. I mean, your true intention is you coming from contribution. And that's what, guys, I know me personally, if I approach you about this company, I'm not looking at you like a number. I'm really not. I enjoy helping people, truly.
Exactly.
I'm sure Scott's the same way.
Yeah. And I was having a discussion with someone about this, and somebody's like, "Oh, well, you just want to recruit somebody." He said, "Yeah, you just want to recruit me, get me in your group." And I said, "Okay, let me ask you a question, right? If it's not all it's cracked up to be, what are you going to do?"
Right.
He goes, "I'm going to leave."
Right.
I go, "So what good would that do me to not tell you the truth?"
Right.
I mean, and there's no upside. I'm not selling you a $10,000 system or something. If it isn't what I say it is, you're going to leave.
Well, that's what happened with my past brokerage. And when I went and approached my team leader, and it's odd now when you think about it, I had to go to my team leader to tell them that I wanted to change brokerages. Think about that in the grand scheme of things. But the fact is, when I went and said that, they were like, "Oh, Anthony, they really didn't know what EXP was back then either," which was kind of interesting now.
They still don't.
Right. Well, they know what they want to tell you about it, and it's not the positive stuff, But the fact is, when he said, "Oh man, you're chasing this tech thing that is only about the money," and I'm like, "Man, okay, I don't understand that, but okay." And I said, "Hey, look, if I don't like this company, EXP, when I go there, can I come back?" And he goes, "For sure, absolutely." I said, "Great, sign here." And that was, I'm like, well, one, buddy, you better practice your negotiation skills. You dropped that one big time. But the fact is, it's true. If you don't like it, and look, and a thing, anybody who's listening to this, I'm sure Scott's going to agree, try it. And look, it's not for everybody. I mean, look, I got people like, I'm like, yep, you shouldn't be in this company. You truly should. And maybe, Scott, if you agree with, I look at EXP as a very entrepreneurial mindset, company. But I've always looked at it like that, almost like at first glance. But then people like you have that business mentality, entrepreneurial mindset. And not everybody's going to have that same thing as you. But that's the reason why, man, maybe you could talk to people about your team and what you're doing with them, because the agents who aren't and I hate to use this word, like the really super business minded who want to just go slay it all over the country, they don't need to, right?
Yeah, I was asked the question, who is EXP not for? And I have actually told people I think they should probably look at other things just based upon the way the conversation went. If someone is strictly a taker, they don't want to give, and that's not how they see the world, they're probably not going to like it there at
I
EXP.
Agree. So true.
If they're highly unethical and selfish, it's not going to be a good fit for them.
Right.
Again, I think this is a small percentage of the people you talk to, but I have, just like in talking to people and in hiring them for the team, if they can't behave themselves in the first interview, what do you think our relationship's going to be like, right?
Right.
I mean, if they can't put on their best face the first time that they're sitting down with me, and I start seeing the "it's about me" mentality, they're not going to be on the team.
No,
and they're not going to be a fit, and they're probably not going to be a good fit for EXP either.
Right.
So.
No, man, that's true. I tell you, it's so many things, and we're seeing. I guess everybody just has an opinion right now, and that's a big reason why I'm doing this podcast. It's just to kind of, one, let everybody realize we're not these crazy people who are just living in this cult mentality, and we're just crazy about EXP. Because look, guys, EXP doesn't work as a company if we don't sell houses. And there's this rumor that we're just recruiting people, and that's few and far between. To be honest, actually, and statistically speaking, the other day I was hearing the different numbers where there's only a certain amount of people who have this many agents in their downline. I was actually taken back a little bit. I was like, wow, I thought they'd be more. Man, there's not one agent who has singly recruited 100 individual people. Not one in the whole entire.
Not one. Right.
And if you look at that, I'm sure, and some of the other companies out there are like kind of knocking us in that sense because of what we do and what we are. But I guarantee you those other companies, there's people who have thousands because they've been around a little bit longer.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing. I mean, I need to, what I'm doing now is I'm putting systems in place to help the agents in my group build their downlines. My group looks like a big ball right now. We've got depth in some, but I've sponsored enough to unlock 7 levels, almost there, and
Nice.
we're not very deep. So we definitely want to get, I want to spend more of my time helping them build and that's kind of what I've been, deeply focused on the last 60 days, is coming up with ways to, help them and use social media and such to get them visible with EXP, so they can start having people reach out to them and building their groups. And
it's great. It's no different, and you probably know this, man. It's no different than lead generation.
Nope.
I'm back too, man. I look at one of the better Keller Williams books or Gary Keller books is The One Thing. I still to this day, and I posted it. I posted on Facebook, and somebody said, I can't remember who it was, but they were like, "Oh, isn't that a Keller Williams book?" I'm like, guys, this is not a them against us. I mean, look,
right.
Again, you said it. I love the company. I learned a lot from the company. I've grown because of it. I didn't grow because of the company itself. I grew because the opportunity the company put in front of me, or at least said, "Hey, here's this door, go in it." And look, no matter what company you're at, if you don't do that type of stuff, you're not going to succeed. Plain and simply put, you're just not going to. But man, the one thing I'm digging back into one thing Scott I've implemented is everything, the 411s with my team, my downline team, 66 days habits, those type of things too, man. Because I'll tell you, that's important. And it even comes as simple as, "Hey guys, I didn't see y'all post anything about the cool, glass door. We took again best place to work, in 2020." And that type of stuff, I think everybody in our teams and downlines and everybody else needs to recognize and just be, conscious of doing all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. No question about it.
So, man, tell us a little bit else. I mean, what else, man, you're selling. And again, if you guys haven't been to Destin, oh, wait, I know what I'm going to talk about. Where did Rosemary Beach come from? Because I visited Destin for the majority of my life. And just 2 years ago, my girlfriend's like, Lauren, she's like, "Let's go to Rosemary Beach." I'm thinking, where the hell is that at? And so we go, man, was this like a secret that anybody didn't know about? Like, I mean, that and what's the other one next to it? Alley's Beach. That looks like Greece.
Yeah, they're amazing, aren't they?
I mean, absolutely. And if you haven't seen it, guys, look, call Scott, tell Scott you coming. Like, because I mean, the fact is, you need to go see Rosemary Beach. Like, I compare. It's like almost like an English type style there, and then Alley's Beach is a whole other level.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about those communities, man. What's going on over there with those?
Well, that's our area over in 30A, and again, we get a lot of folks who have their second homes and vacation homes down right in that area. It's really quite beautiful down there. If you get a chance to come on down and vacation and take a look at it. All of those communities are just so cool. That's actually how I fell in love with coming down here. I used to come down here on vacation as a kid, and I got a book. I got a book on Seaside when they were building that back in the mid '90s, and that was the thing that pushed me over the edge. I looked out the window, and we didn't see the sun. The month I moved down from the Chicago suburbs, they set a record. They never saw the sun one day in that month. And it wasn't the snow, it was the gray that had just gotten. Right. And I'm like, I'm never going to see that again. I'm going down there where they have homes like this and beaches like that. So
it's so true, man. I tell you, I'm going to make a move to an island or a tropical soon. We were almost going to the Virgin Islands, and I said, you know what? And it all started, man. I was sitting on Rosemary Beach. And so I have my Homes and City team. And while I was sitting on that beach, man, I was like, you know what? I need to start a Homes and Beach team just because, I mean, who doesn't like living on a beach? So we're in the process right now picking a stateside destination where we're going to be, and I'm probably going to go like into Central Texas, New Braunfels. It's going to be my next probably big move. But I tell you, man, my target's set on Belize. I think that's my next big jump.
Oh, wow.
Go. Yeah, I can't wait. I just did a great podcast with the guys over there on my other podcast, Mega Agent X. But man, Belize, same thing. But I just want to get out the States. I want to have a destination outside the States. But I can tell you, man, sitting there at Rosemary Beach, and like you said, it's like, why aren't we living like some parts like this at times? I love New York, love New Orleans, love these big cities. But man, when you get into those areas like that, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah, I like visiting the big cities. I wouldn't like living there anymore.
Right.
I'll go for three. Again, I'm okay for a while after 3 or 4 days in New Orleans, especially if I can catch a Saints game in there.
Right. I know, man. I've been out of New Orleans now for about 4 months, and I never thought I would say that in my life, to be honest with you. And somebody asked me the other day, do you miss New Orleans? I said, yeah. I mean, I miss the food. Don't get me wrong. 'Cause, dude, I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana. And if you guys listening, never been to Shreveport, it's a great city. It's very quaint. It's very, I'd say, rural feeling. And it gave me the ability to kind of sit down and really focus on my business and grow. But, man, there's no good food.
Oh,
At all.
I would have figured it would have worked its way over there. It's not happening
man.
now, huh?
Look, I was Thanksgiving, not this year, but last year, because Lauren's from here, my girlfriend, and we came for Thanksgiving. And I ate Thanksgiving. I'm just thinking to myself, should I say something? Because this food is horrible, you know? And so finally I'm like, hey, what do y'all cook with? Y'all use salt, like garlic, Tony Chachere's, anything like that? And, you know. So this year, man, my mom actually came up and we did, we fried it. They never had fried turkey here. Never.
Oh, wow.
Who hasn't eaten a fried turkey? So we had that. We had like shrimp mirliton and just a bunch of New Orleans dishes, which are absolutely great, you know. But it is, man, it's interesting when you go. You kind of when you're living somewhere, man, pigeonhole area. It's like that with real estate too. When you go from one real estate market, and that's really, I like what EXP has enabled me to do, man. I'm in 6 different real estate markets right now with my team. And I tell you, you want to be a student of the game and learn, go here, go there, help this person here. And it's really neat. And the cool part, man, doing it all virtually from in the access to this room, this team suite in the different EXP world. Oh, it's truly amazing.
Yeah, and that was another thing that I just found so cool about this concept is I can go into business with, and whether they're on my team or not on my team, they're part of my group.
Right.
I can go into business with anybody anywhere.
Anywhere.
And there's such cool agents that I've met around the country. I'm in talks with a couple of real high producing guys who have teams and stuff, and they're almost ready to come. But you know, it's just more so than anything. I mean, I want to be in business with them. You know, they're just cool people.
It's so true. Just like you said, man, before we met, I was like, Scott and I met this year at EXP Con. Was it in New Orleans or which one we met at? Was it Vegas?
Where was the EXP Con? Was it Vegas?
Yeah, Vegas. So this year we didn't meet. But the fact was, Scott and I have been knowing each other passing in the business for a long time, but it's because of a gentleman, Jeff Payne in Panama City, Florida. You know, good friend of both of ours have been knowing. But man, I've never been in business with you guys, okay? Like truly never, we knew when we sent referrals and Jeff's a great guy. But man, like you said, you talk about next level living, next level mindset, next level mastermind sessions, is that when we're in a mastermind session, man, and you know and I know that if we go slay this business, that our stock's going to increase maybe twofold. I mean, every one of us as an EXP agent have skin in the game to help each other get better. That's true. Expect to do if you're in your downline. Like I said, man, I got to New York. Were you able to make that leadership event in Vegas right before EXPCon? I didn't. No. I was, man. I should have.
Make the one next year. It was one of the greatest things I've ever been to.
Okay.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
Checking that off right now, dude. I've seen it, and I keep forgetting. Like this year, I brought some newbies to Vegas. I was in Vegas for 7 days, man. And I tell y'all, don't go to Vegas for 7 days, dude. You know, I have an Apple Watch that tracks my steps. Try to guess how many miles I walked in 7 days.
Oh, you'll walk a lot there. Yeah.
Dude, 68 miles in 7 days. And people are bragging on Workplace, man, which I love Workplace now. And they were like, oh, we walked 24 miles. I'm like, should I even post mine on here? Because they think I'm bullshitting. But I can tell you what, dude, my feet hurt. That was one thing about Vegas, dude. I can tell you, that conference room is far away.
It's a long way, even if you're in the same building.
Right.
Yeah.
But man, Scott, dude, what else you got, dude?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say one thing that was just so cool was, we had a suite that our group, Jay Nelson had a suite that he had everybody in his group up to, and Glenn Sanford came in, Gene Frederick came in, Rob Flick came in, and just here my wife and I are talking with Glenn Sanford for probably 15 minutes about business, and I'm like, they don't have to do this.
No, at all.
I mean, and I just think back to how I felt at, other places I worked where, I couldn't, get my regional director on the phone.
No, dude, look, you
I had
could
a
say it
problem.
because that's what I think people don't realize, man, how approachable these kick-ass leaders are. And
Yeah.
they are in other companies too, but I know, man, look, it's different from where we were before to now, right?
Yeah. Gene Frederick walked up to me and I said, "Hi, I'm Scott Gregory." He goes, "I know who you are." And I'm like, "What? Why?"
Right? Why?
I mean, and he knew my wife Lisa too, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, oh my gosh, I mean, this is cool.
Well, I call Gene maybe once a month now because he's helping me attract people. And then the first time I called, I said, "Look, Gene, we probably met 9 years ago at a Keller." He's like, "Anthony, how you been?" And look, I didn't care if he was bullshitting me or not, but it just felt good that such a leader, and now, I mean, we communicate. And man, it's true. Like I was with Aaron Rawls, and when I was interviewing Aaron on the last podcast, man, he talked about Brent Goff. He said that guy would do anything for anybody, man. And that's truly some of the cool things that I love and I have not seen. I got one of my agents here, Mark Saint Romain. He just came over from Edward Jones, and he quit financial advising. He's been in EXP now for about a month, and he's like, "Anthony," he goes, "I haven't seen a culture like this in any company ever." He's been in the Army. I was in the Army a long time too. Mark and I were in the Army National Guard together, and said nothing. He said the leadership, the power to just help each other learn and grow. And look, guys, I know y'all listening to this, and you're probably like, these two guys are just what the hell. But look, I want y'all to understand, we're talking about some of these things because I think, Scott, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I'm still a little in shock on how great these things are that we have at our fingertips.
Yeah. It's funny. My wife, we went to our first EXP con. It wouldn't have been this last one. It would have been the one before that. And my wife looks at me and goes, "They're really nice." And I said, "They are, aren't they?" And I go, "It's kind of," and she's like, "It's kind of unsettling." And I said, "Yeah. I mean, I was used to go to these conventions. Going to these conventions, it had gotten deteriorated to the point where they were throwing a box with a stale sandwich at you while you ran from one breakout to another, and you had to check yourself in, and I mean, it just kind of got to that point, right?
Yep, it is so different in that sense, no doubt.
Yeah, we had one of the vice presidents came over. We were just standing in the hallway taking photos with some of the cutouts and stuff. Go, "How are you enjoying the session?" And you're learning things, and where you from, and anything we can do better. And I'm like, he didn't have to go out of his way to do that,
Nope.
And that was that was cool too. It was just again, the people in the group, the people in EXP are really helpful.
Yep.
Like they got that Glassdoor award, and that comes from happy employees. Getting that honor. So it comes down from the top that way, and there's a real sincere effort to to go out of their way to make sure we're having a good experience. So
I had someone on Facebook approach me, and they said, and this is not even real estate related, but I posted another Glassdoor 3 years in a row, and they messaged me and said, "Wow, that's amazing." I said, "Yeah, it really is," and they said, "That's a big deal that a company does that 3 years in a row." I said, "Yeah, from what I understand, I really, I haven't looked into Glassdoor. I mean, I understand what they do and how they rate and all that, but man, that's a huge deal. When a company, I can tell you, man, like, the beauty of what people don't realize a lot of times is that we have so many great employees that work with us, inside of VXP world. I was talking to a lady in accounting the other day, and man, she is living her best life. She's working in the cloud, which she can work from anywhere with an internet connection, anywhere. And so she was in Houston at the time, and this was actually a couple months ago when Houston was kind of getting the bad rain, and she was a little worried. And we were talking. It was funny. I mean, we were like a personal connection on there. And she's like, "Yeah, I live in Colorado. I'm visiting my fiance in Houston. Just last week, I was in New England working, making money with a company who gives you incentives and insurance and all that fun stuff." I mean, how the heck can it not make that list?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, well, man, dude, it's been a great talk, man. And look, you're in I'm gonna say my second favorite region of the country, because I'm still, I guess, a New Orleanian by heart. But man, I love it out there. You guys are doing amazing things out there. And so how can people get in touch with you, Scott? Because look, guys, I want y'all to understand, he just told y'all, if y'all listening, They are doing free educational events. This guy has slaughtered real estate for 20 years. You're crazy if you're not going to these events and learning.
Okay? Absolutely. Thank you.
Make sure you are. Look, if he calls you, answer, because this guy knows his stuff. And I hear it all the time where people don't return calls and anything. So guys, look, Scott, how do they find you classes? How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can call or text me anytime. My cell number is 850-677-1630.
Awesome. Good. Yeah. Where's somebody? How would they get in touch with you for the events?
For the events, you can, let's see, if you want to get put on our notification for upcoming events, you can email me at scottgregoryteam@gmail.com.
Awesome.
Or you can also, we also post them on we also have a free real estate training website that we put up. It's it's Gritty Agents, www.grittyagents.com. We're just getting ready to launch that. It's a free training site. So there's all sorts of good stuff there to help you with your business, whether you come to EXP or not.
Cool deal. Awesome. Well, good deal, man. Look, it's been great. And one thing I always like to ask is the exit question. If someone's on the fence, what's the one thing you would tell them about EXP?
I would tell them the exact same thing that got me off the fence. Jay looked at me and said, "What do you have to lose?"
Right. That's a good one.
He goes, "What's the worst that could happen?" And I said, I don't like it, and you have to go back where I was.
Right.
And he said, "Okay, can you live with that?" I said, "Yeah."
Probably.
And he said, "Well, let's do this. What do you think?"
Awesome.
And I said, yeah, let's do this.
That's good stuff. All right, brother. Well, this has been amazing. Keep in touch with me. And guys, again, visit Scott. If you're going to Florida at all, Destin, Navarre, Panama City, 38 Emerald Coast, make sure you check him out.
Enjoyed it.
Thanks.